My guest today is one of the great spiritual masters of our time. Applauded, celebrated, awarded the Nobel Prize. One of India's great national inspiration. I'm delighted to welcome him. Hello and welcome to my series of conversations with men and women whose ideas, vision and philosophy help define our contemporary world. As in a sense we begin our countdown to the excitement, the challenges and the possibilities of the Olympic Games, I'm delighted to welcome the chairperson of the Indian Olympic movement, who has played a pivotal and key role in shaping the contours of Indian sport, and as he hastened to add, apart from cricket, he's been a long-time serving member of Parliament, more than 25 years. He's been a distinguished businessman who brings his organizational skills and passion for sport to his responsibilities. I'm delighted to welcome Mr. Suresh Kalmadi.
Thank you.
As we're counting down to the Olympic Games, what are your feelings? I think there's, for most Indians, there's a feeling of sort of, despair and, another Olympic Games coming up. Not a great deal of optimism as to what might emerge from it. What are your expectations?
This Olympic Games which are coming, I have not much expectations, because getting 1 or 2 medals is nothing. You must get a bag full of medals. That's the day I'll be happy. So for that, a lot of things need to be done, and things like sending teams abroad for a long time, good training abroad, good foreign coaches to come to the country, good diet for the athletes, good accommodation for the athletes. So there are a lot of things, and also they're being given scientific treatment, and all that stuff is there, which
but
is
this has sort of been familiar territory and familiar discourse, and been talked about for decades. And yet it isn't really falling into place, and you don't blame, in a sense, the country for being sort of anguished, and the popular perception is of...
But every time we don't do too well in the Olympics, all of us get up in Parliament and everybody says that something has to be done. But the sports budget remains the same. There is no special attention given to sports, and from all levels, whether it's government level, or the parents don't encourage the children to go to sports. The education system is so book oriented. They don't, they're not allowed to go to fields, to go to the playing fields. So it's a full circle, but a lot of things have to be done. We have a lot of talent, but a lot of things have to be done, which is not.
But to what degree and why must this be dependent on the government in an age of privatization, globalization, moving away from the role of the state in most countries, really, that it hasn't been the preserve of government interventions and support, and despite a criticism, in a sense, of cricket that you and your colleagues have had, that look, cricket tends to dominate to the exclusion of other sports, which is perhaps true, but at the same time I think the cricket constituency would stand up and claim, well, we have managed to work with the privatization, we have managed to renegotiate television rights, which have been a source of revenue for us. Why isn't the sports movement, the Olympic movement, being able to do similar things in order to galvanize public interest and public support? And why are we just waiting for the state?
Cricket has its own space, and the Indians are crazy about cricket, and all the private sector is going after cricket. They are not going after Olympic sports, which is played in over 200 countries. Cricket is played in just 10-15 countries of the world, and there is need for Indian industry, not only government, for Indian industry to look at Olympic sports, and it is through such events. Now, the last big event we had in India was the Asian Games in 1982. Since then we have had no big event in India. Now the Commonwealth Youth Games in Pune and the Commonwealth Games in Delhi, they are the first big events. But we have to create champions in these events. We have to create champions. Now we have got shooting. We are coming up in shooting in a big manner. So we have to develop the sports like shooting, archery, hockey. Hockey also has been in the dumps. After a long time, we are not even in the Olympics. So there is need for federations to improve their functioning. There is need for private sector to come in a big way. There is need for the sports being built up in schools other than cricket. You see, other sports also must because it's played by the majority of countries in the world.
You had a long association with sport. What is the passion that drives you into working with sport and trying to make this difference against what seem like overwhelming odds? I mean, from what I hear you saying is, look, there's only so much I can do. It's got to do with our education system. It's got to do with resources. Of all the problems that I confront, so what value, what leadership do you think you can provide?
Well, we are trying to do our best, and over the period, all the federations also are improving now. In many sports, we are doing well, and but a lot remains, and we are coming out with. We appreciate cricket in 2020, etc. has gone off very well. No two ways about that. That's a new form, but there's a lot of entertainment in that. Whereas our all sports, except hockey and football, which is for 1 hour, athletics, it goes on the whole day. So we have to see how the athletics, which goes on the whole day, can be cut to 2 hours or 3 hours. You know, the various things we are doing from the international level, how to shorten the time so people can stay and have a look at it. We have been trying to convince the industry to come forward, and we have been trying to get the government to come forward. But things are happening, and like hockey, now the Olympic Association has taken over hockey, and now we have got 5 ex-captains of hockey to be the selection committee. There should be no intervention by anybody on the work of the selection committee, and we are seeing that the presidents should be an industrialist or a politician or a bureaucrat. So he does his job as a president to collect money, to go to government and get international sending a team abroad, all these things. But the secretary should be a technical person, and definitely a selection committee must be of all former players, international players.
But you know, the popular perception is that, you know, we've had politicians largely for much long, and they haven't delivered. You know, theoretically, you know, you've argued that you know, the value of having a politician, their ability to perhaps lobby government and to be a sphere of influence, or bureaucrats, and look at the pathetic state of hockey in which you know, the association had to intervene. Ultimately, politicians and bureaucrats have not delivered. Isn't it about time we move to the professionalization of this, to get a professional manager and professional administrator, and not just a politician because he is a politician and a lousy administrator?
The professional role will be different. A professional cannot head the federation.
Why not? I mean, a CEO, Mr. Ambani, if he began to run this is what the attempt in cricket has been. You know, if Mr. Ambani began to manage a cricket team or manage the Indian hockey team, maybe you'd have a lot more success.
But he's into cricket. He's chosen cricket. If he wants anybody who wants to, I tell you, when we have elections for a particular federation, we don't get people to head the federation. People are not coming forward. So if there are any professionals or any industry wanting to, please let me know the name. I'll definitely put him onto some federation. But right now we have difficulty because there is no gate money. Nobody wants to come. There is a great difficulty in getting people to be trained. There's a whole lot of things which need to be done, and we are trying to do it slowly and slowly, but it don't come up so fast till we create champions through mega events. So,
you know, the Chinese, in fact, sort of held back from the Olympics for a while and then came back with a bang. Have you thought of something like that?
No.
Give us ourselves time to get our act together, and how much time do you think you'll need?
Chinese have been having a system for a long time. Their players, after they retire, they go to, they are made coaches, and they are paid salaries throughout. So, and then they have their schools. First athlete goes to the village school, then the district school, then the state school, then national school.
But how much time do you think you need to be able to begin to demonstrate, to show some tangible results in terms of successes? the coming Olympics are already been sort of has been for us?
We are looking to the Commonwealth Games, and that's in 2010. And we have just got the government to sanction money for training. So big amount, say 660 crores has been given for training. So now we can send teams abroad, we can do a lot of things. The total budget of the country is 500 crores. So in that, which includes the infrastructure, how much money was left for training in any case? First time government has given big amount for training. So this is a good start, and we are the hosts of the Commonwealth Games, and definitely I've told all the federations that they have to deliver. Now they got money for training, and we have to be among the medals in the Commonwealth Games 2010.
You're watching a conversation with Mr. Suresh Kalmadi, sort of spearheading India's hopefully sporting renaissance. We'll be right back after a short break. Don't go away. Welcome back to a continuing conversation with Mr. Suresh Kalmadi. Tell me, what does sport mean to you? What has attracted you into sports management and what's the seemingly impossible challenges in putting sports back on the rail?
Since my early days in the National Defence Academy.
You were a pilot.
I was a pilot, yes. So in the national, so we played a lot of sports, and that's what I basically got the interest from. And I've been in the Athletic Federation. So I felt I volunteered to be the president of the Olympic Committee. I lost the election and I won an election, and last time's election was unanimous. So all the federations have faith in me. So that we are now working out systems where we can improve the sport.
I meant that in a sense that, what gratifications do you get from an engagement with sport, as opposed to, you've done, you're doing tremendous work in Pune to revive Pune. You've called about the corporatization of Pune. There are many other areas of your interest. But what is the special value that sports gives to you, the high, the satisfaction, as opposed to doing some of the other things, or the many things that you could be doing?
The Indian sports is down, so it gives me no better satisfaction than to try and bring it up. So now hockey also, we found that after 80 years we are not in the Olympics. So I said we must step in.
Would you feel some responsibility for that state, that things were allowed to go so badly that you finally had to intervene? Maybe if you had intervened a long time ago, or someone had intervened before it had become sort of disaster stations, that may have made a difference. What happened?
No,
Why did it go on for so long?
The Olympic Committee usually cannot interfere and does not interfere with federation. Federations are all autonomous bodies internationally, not only in India. Internationally, all autonomous bodies. So we cannot interfere in the working. We can advise them, but we cannot take out people at our whim and fancies. So this came to a stage where the entire entire executive committee of the Olympic movement felt that a change must come about, and so change was brought. When such a situation arose, we got the change done, and I'm sure there will be better days ahead. I have no doubt in my mind.
What kind of time frame have you given yourself for the resurrection of Indian hockey? Because if there is one sport other than cricket that we may be able to create the kind of synergy, the excitement that you're talking about. So in fact, the next sport to really look at is hockey. So what kind of time frame? What's going to happen?
There are two sports which you have to look at. One is hockey and one is football. These are both played within the hour and a half, and so this can be built up very well. And so we are going to concentrate on that, and I'm sure now the entire team is working on it, and we are finding sponsors, and a lot of people are coming forward. So I'm sure better days are there.
You're a man of action. You've said that, look, I only enjoy organizing large things, and you never let the heat of the moment get you, and that's because you combine an attention to the micro with the macro. What drives you? What gives you satisfaction?
I never said that I enjoy only large things. I mean, I am at it at grassroots level, like Athletic Federation. Let me tell you, me and Lalit Bhanot, my secretary, when we took over, there were only 3 competitions. Today we have got 40 competitions, and the athletic standard in the country is improving. We have come in the top 30 in many events, but it's still not enough to win medals. So we need that final push, which our sports minister, Mr. Gill, is giving. So hopefully we go ahead.
What about the stories we read in the press and I'm no doubt grounded in some reality, of the terrible realities that sportsmen and women have to confront in terms of meager allowances, in terms of 4 people sharing a room in Srinagar, of 110 rupees a day of food allowances, and no sense of dignity, of respect, of comfort that impedes their performance. You have mentioned the shortage of funds and resources, but very often there is the perception that the image portrayed in the media, and I'm certainly willing for it to be corrected, is that the first thing that officials do is get themselves blazers and get their visas and positions organized, and then the sportsmen trundle along behind them. How true is that? How real is the everyday experience?
Not a correct position. Having said that, you rightly mentioned the sports budget. It is just 0.00001% of total budget. That needs to be strengthened. More has to be done. And for all these factors you mentioned, for training, for accommodation, everything, now first time we have seen some money coming for the Commonwealth Games. So, but those who organize the games in various parts, you said Srinagar, where I don't know the particular incident, but you must compliment the State Olympic Committee for having at least got $110 to for the food, given them some accommodation, maybe 4, but out of the meager resources they are doing whatever they can. And let me tell you that people who go for various sports events which you just mentioned, they are not the ones who have gone with the team. With the team, there is a manager, there is an assistant manager, the treasurer, there is a chef de mission, there is a doctor, so they are only those people go on the monies which are provided by. The rest of the federations go on their own account, and when they go on their own account, and I would suggest that they should go, because they must see what's the latest happening in that particular sports. Because now if they go to China, they must see what are the latest things which have arrived. So we are not left lagging behind. Now the Commonwealth Games is there. Now these federations, I'm encouraging people to go to China and seeing what's happening there, because we have to organize the games next, and we have not had an event from 1982. So our people have to learn. They have to go for observes program. So it's not that they go out and enjoy themselves and come back, which naturally, you see, you have said that the media highlights all that. They love to highlight all these things, and but we have to be more careful, and we have to make sure that only those who want to go. And but it's not true that they're going at the expense of the athlete, because athlete is all fixed, and I'm happy now the allowance for the athlete for the boarding has increased, so we'll be able to pay better.
What are they now carrying?
It's gone to $50. It was $25, gone to $50. So they go to Beijing, they'll get $50 per day. So this is after getting free accommodation and free boarding.
You're watching a conversation with Mr. Suresh Kalmadi as we have begun, in a sense, the countdown to the Beijing Olympics. We'll be right back after a short break. Don't go away. Welcome back to a continuing conversation with Mr. Kalmadi as India approaches the Beijing Olympics. There is often the feeling that on the part of people on your side of the fence, as it were, that the media is misrepresenting the kind of challenges, is misrepresenting and focusing on the wrong things when they talk about the allowances and they talk about the terrible conditions that sportsmen confront, even as you have suggested that there is a shortage of resources. What would you like the media to capture that would present the real picture, the wonderful things that you say you're doing and the results that they will yield? If you could sort of detail 2 or 3 or 4 of them and say, look, focus on this. This is the positive side of the story. In the years that I have been associated with this is what we achieved. Come and take a look.
The main thing is focus on Olympic sports, not just cricket. That's what I want to tell the media. And Olympic sports also, we are not unhappy that they choose to focus on issues like this. This helps us also. Then things are under control. So I'm quite comfortable with that. But also where the training of the athletes, they should come down harshly on that. the training is not okay, they're not been, or the selection is wrong. Definitely, they must focus on that. If that focus is there, then we know how to deal with the situation.
Because every now and then, stories emerge of somebody who's paid money to
Yeah.
get onto a team and aspects
that
like
happened,
that.
and we have taken action on that. We are very clear that the federations also, I'm not absolving all of them. They also must get the right people. You said that there are some people for a long time. Fine, that's done by the federation. If there is somebody who is not being, it's a federation's responsibility to change the person. We cannot interfere, as I mentioned to you. But they have to now look how much time to keep a person.
The media has argued that if you hadn't sort of stayed with the emphasis on Doordarshan, and that's a channel we're on right now, as the focus of sport, but the fact that cricket was able to negotiate a deal that took it away to a more market-driven viewership, and then went into technologies and went into approaches that would make the sport more interesting to viewers, because ultimately with 200 channels you could be carrying images of the Olympic sport, but unless we were bringing in elements both of technology and the way that the event was designed, you're not going to get results. I mean, if you don't have viewers, it doesn't matter if you're beaming images into a sort of empty space. So what are some of the mechanisms that you're thinking about that would bring in people to watch this either on screen or in the stadium, so that you could then begin to get gate money?
You can get this only if you create champions. That's why the Commonwealth Games, we have to create champions. And once you create champions and they are in the stadium, then more people will come there. Today, all the champions cricket has a lot of champions. That they come to see a Dhoni or a...
So what steps are you taking to create champions,
So now,
other than, you've talked about professional selections, processes, so that there's no fixing of that. You've talked about organizing international exposure for them. But by the time we're going to get this happening in schools and the other many sort of issues you've talked about, it's going to take, generations before that has effect. So in the medium term,
training of athletes. Training of athletes is the main thing. You must be able to send the athlete out. There must be enough sufficient for send them out.
For training?
For training, yes. That's the main thing. And then getting a lot of coaches. Now, the salary for the coaches, foreign coaches, is $2,500. The whole world is paying them $7,500 to $10,000. So all the best coaches are going elsewhere. So, you see, all these steps have to be taken. Many steps have to be taken. We have been fighting all along, but I think now for the Commonwealth Games, they have raised it from $2,500 to $5,000. So at least
as in a sense, the postscript, or shall I say the preface to the Olympic Games, was the torch ceremony, and as a postscript to that, I think that was sort of whatever the external circumstances may have been, or the justifications, I think that was extremely depressing. The brief run on Rajpath.
No, I think it was fantastic.
The paucity of people.
I think it was fantastic. But after seeing London,
because you were lucky,
Paris,
you were privileged to be there. We couldn't get there even.
You saw it on Doordarshan. You saw it on television.
Well, what we saw with the empty stands and people running a few steps at a
time. The best runners in India, best sportsmen of India, were there to carry the torch.
So you felt that was an appropriate, the manner in which it happened,
and
was an inspiring build-up to the Olympic Games.
International Olympic Committee torch, and the Olympics are a sacred cow.
Oh, indeed, indeed. No quarrel with that.
So we have done all the best to protect it. We didn't allow a thing which happened in Paris or London to happen here. That's why. So even if
that's
more
fantastic.
security, that's fine.
Oh, no question.
But all the best
we could have, we could have done that in the army barracks and got it. But the question is that as a nation, we
saw
felt
it on television.
We felt
everybody didn't have to see it physically. They saw it in.
So you felt that it was an inspiring
it
countdown.
was very inspiring. It was very inspiring. And with the, if one or two people didn't run, Bhaichand Bhutia didn't run, but we said that's up to him. If he feels he should not run, he should not. So that's up to him. So we never forced anybody to come and take the torch. But for every player, it's a matter of pride to hold the Olympic torch. So all the top sportsmen were there.
Tell me that in terms of your philosophy of life and living, what is it that drives you and motivates you into the unfolding of your life? So many challenges, so many difficulties, I mean, inside, do you have a faith? Do you believe in God? Do you want to do something larger than yourself?
I was a defense background. I was the Air Force pilot. So that's the NDA training, I suppose. And then you have to, if you do so, you must, one life so much to do. One life so much to do. And so it's a question of time management.
So apart from sport and you're championing the cause of Pune as a city that you represent, what are your other ambitions and dreams and things that drive you and excite you?
Well, besides these two things are taking enough of my time, and so I love to look after my constituency, Pune, which I've been elected member of parliament for some time. So then in Pune I do various activities. One is the Pune festival, which I've been doing now for the last 20 years. Pune International Marathon, which I've been doing for the last 23 years. Then the IT-BT seminar, which I've been organizing, an exhibition, because Pune is an IT-BT city. And I was very happy to hear in the latest IT-BT meeting I had, Mr. Nayan Murthy was there, and he said that Pune is going to be the largest center of Infosys in India, not Bangalore. So that's very, it gives a great thrill to all this, to do all this in my city.
So, Mr. Kalmadi, that it seems a long haul ahead for Indian sport. We're already talking about bidding for the Olympics in 2020.
In 2020, a good Commonwealth Games will ensure that we get the Olympics in 2020, because the bidding for the 2020 starts in 2011, just after the Commonwealth Games, and the final decision for 2020 will be taken in 2013. So we are preparing for that as well.
And so in that countdown, can you make a prediction for us? 2008, 2020 Olympics, that's 12 years, and hopefully you'll still be holding India's Olympic flag aloft. How many medals?
Well, a bag full of medals there.
And this is a politician. How large a bag?
No, we have to set things right, and no two ways about it. We have to do much more work. The federation have to do more. Everybody concerned has to put in their bit and to bring up Olympic sports.
Thank you, Mr. Kalmadi. This has been a great privilege, and good luck for the Beijing Olympics. And how many medals do you predict this time? 2, 3?
I don't predict anything.
Thank you. Thank you.